Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 17 of the F1 2019 Haas Road to Glory career mode as we head to the Japanese Grand Prix. Huge driver transfer news coming into this weekend. Now you can see on the side we've got a couple of chassis upgrades as well, but that is not what we want to focus on here today. Lewis Hamilton has left Mercedes. Him and Devon Butler, the two Brits that have been, really strong this season, proven the British force in Formula 1. They have made a direct swap. Hamilton has now gone to the ever-improving Renault. Potentially have a look at what Ricciardo has tried in real life there. Devon Butler has gone to Mercedes there, and I think Hamilton moves once again to the best team in Formula 1 there, at least theoretically wise. Hopefully he can try and bring some luck to the Renault team there. It's going to be the very first Grand Prix in Formula 1 Hamilton is going to run without Mercedes power. I can't quite believe it, I'll be honest with you guys as well here, but it certainly seems a wise move. Mercedes are just not making the progress at the moment in this series there. They're slipped down to 6th. We're looking like we might even jump them as well by the end of Season 2. What a move it was for Lewis Hamilton. But whether it'll work out, though, is a very, very different question. But let's jump on then. I cannot believe that. Let's jump on into the Japanese Grand Prix.
Welcome to the only figure of 8 track on the F1 calendar. We're here at Suzuka for qualifying today ahead of the Japanese Grand Prix. It always looked like the kind of track that asks an awful lot of the rear tyres, such as the frequency of low-speed exits.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
So here we are then, ready for the Japanese Grand Prix, and as I'm sure you guys are already well aware from a lot of other people that do career modes on F1 2019, this track was going to be tough and testing. You guys have probably seen it from Season 1 of this career mode as well here. The AI, something needs to be looked at, I'll be honest with you guys, as we head down in towards the final few corners of my Q3 run. My Q1 run, I'm not too sure what my Q3 run is, my Q1 run there. We go P12 at the end of the first session there. But the AI are just hilariously strong around this circuit. Last week, 9/10 gap over my teammate Romain Grosjean. This time round, a 1/10 of a second at the end of the first qualifying session there. It really does need to be looked into. It's not quite as bad as it was pre, the new aero patch, but it is still ridiculous how strong the AI are around this Japanese Grand Prix circuit there. And yeah, really does need to be fixed. Version 1.09 plus patch for Japanese Grand Prix circuit. There's still another couple of tracks that are very very strong for the AI, a couple of tracks that are very very weak for the AI, but Japan I really do think is the big one on F1 2019. But luckily we did still make it through into Q2 here, and now we need to try and get a good Q2 run here, try and move ourselves up as high up the order as we possibly can, try and capitalise as best as possible here. But yeah, the fine run of form we've had for the most part over the last few rounds, I wasn't really expecting it to stick as we head in towards Japan, just because of how strong the AI here around here. You can see 8/10 of a second we lost to Sergio Perez by the end of Sector 1 here on alone. And I know it's not really our strongest sector, it's a lot of aero and chassis, but still, 9/10 of a second is quite crazy, I'll be honest with you guys, on F1 2019 to lose in just one sector. At the end of Sector 2, we were now 1.2 seconds off the rear of Max Verstappen there, as he now sets the fastest lap of Q2 here. You see coming down in towards the final couple of corners though. What are we going to be able to do? They're taking a nice chunk of curb through both parts of the Casio triangle there, and out of the final corner, almost actually sack it into the pit wall there. That could have been a very very big crash, but it's only good enough for P14 at the end of the session there. And yeah, really not the qualifying result we would have wanted, but honestly I think last season we put it on the back row of the grid. It's still just crazy on F1 2019. We even got beat by my teammate Romain Grosjean there. You can see further up the order, Hamilton though, on his debut for Renault, actually gets jumped by Lucas Weber there. Clearly not too confident in the machinery. Devon Butler though still way clear of Pierre Gasly. I think that also goes to show just how strong Lucas Weber's AI is still on F1 at 2019. And it's sad, that we don't get that direct comparison between him and Butler anymore in this series there. You know, both those guys have been moving around quite a lot. Renault haven't kept their lineup from the start of 2019. Mercedes haven't kept any of their lineup from the start of 2019. It's crazy just how many driver transfers have gone on so far in this series. But let's jump on then. It's time for the Japanese Grand Prix.
And a very warm welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix, an event that has decided a Drivers' Championship 11 times over the years and has hosted some very memorable races as well. Who can forget Kimi Raikkonen's win from 17th on the grid in 2005, or Kamui Kobayashi's incredible drive to a podium in 2012. We're southwest of the city of Nagoya today at a wet and windy Suzuka circuit. 3.6 miles and 18 corners make up a lap here, with Sector 1 likely to prove especially difficult in these conditions. We should see overtaking into turns 1 and 16 today, and maybe a few Kobayashi-style dives into the hairpin as well. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson, and you join us as we discuss the recent changes to the driver lineup. So there's no avoiding it. Let's start by discussing Devon Butler. They've just moved to Mercedes. How do you think they'll get on?
Well, as a driver, whenever you move teams, you want to end up in a faster and more competitive car. So I think they'll be very pleased with their new home. On the other hand, moving to a larger, more successful team brings with it additional pressures and higher expectations. So we'll have to wait and see how well they cope with that.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Devon Butler lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Gasly, they've taken a grid penalty, Mr. Monaco, and Sainz, Giovinazzi, Vettel, Valtteri Bottas, and Hülkenberg, Hamilton, Perez, Norris, and George Russell, Grosjean, Stroll, Alexander Albon and Kimi Raikkonen. Fiat and Lucas Weber completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
We're not starting where we wanted. We'll need to fight our way up the grid today.
So, not quite what I was expecting as we headed in towards the Japanese Grand Prix. It was going to be a very soggy race on the whole there. Luckily not full wet conditions because, well, OPAI at Japan and then a full wet race would probably be my idea of hell. I'll be honest with you guys now after the new patch as well here. But the 5 lights are coming on then, ready for the Japanese Grand Prix, and it is 5 lights and it's lights out. And away we don't really get going there. A huge, you know, just lack of power as we head down in towards turn 1 moves. We're going to get absolutely swamped by the cars around us there. Albon and Giovinazzi around the outside there. We actually split between the pair of them once again as we head in towards turn 1. They're not too sure how we can get the legal overtake for yellow flags there as Giovinazzi tries to barge me off the road as we head out of the exit of turn 1 and at turn 2 there. Through the S's we come on the opening lap of this Grand Prix, and in the horrible wet conditions here, the spray everywhere. We cannot see anything at the moment there. A little bit of contact with Giovinazzi once again, and that could have easily been myself going right around here as we try to get up towards the top of the hill there through the next couple of corners here to see, trying to get the drive down in towards Sector 2 there. Giovinazzi tries to have a look round the outside as we head in towards the first of the Degners there, and that was certainly never going to be a move that was going to work out well for the Alfa Romeo man there as he actually ends up in the gravel trap there, through in towards the hairpin though. You can see Carlos Sainz just in front of us there. We sort of accidentally ended up on the inside of the McLaren there as we try to get the drive on the exit of the corner there. We do make that move work, and we now back up into P13 of this Grand Prix. So after all of that, we've held on to where we started in this race. It's funny sometimes how F1 works on F1 2019. Yeah, we do still hold on to P13 at the opening, at the end of lap 1 there, but once again, almost flashbacks to our pit lane, to our qualifying pit lane disaster there. That was almost a big brown trouser moment as we head out of the final couple of corners to start lap 2 though. You can see already just the opening few laps of these Grand Prix. You know, I always say it, even in the dry, especially in the wet though, I really do struggle to get up into a rhythm, you know, relative to the AI. You know, they are computers, so I'd be a bit worried, you know, if I could just jump up straight to their pace, but still, really do struggle in the opening couple of laps, you know, especially in the wet, just try and build up temperature, build up a rhythm, build up momentum. Everything like that is really difficult to try and capitalise in the early stages of these Grand Prix here. As you can see, coming down in towards Spoon once again here, though. We have now closed up to the rear of my teammate Roman Grosjean here, and the AI, the intermediate conditions usually very strong for the, you know, for the human the AI really struggled. But around Japan, it basically evened it out. It was a little bit weird, I'll be honest with you guys. Inadvertently, you know, the intermediate conditions has probably created a bit more of an even race than we would normally expect in this career mode there. In towards the final couple of corners, though, of lap 3, a big lock-up there as we actually dink the rear of my teammate Roman Grosjean there. Norris, Russell, Gasly, and Grosjean and myself there having a big train as we head out of the final couple of corners there. The Williams still struggling in the intermediate conditions here as we head now onto lap 4 of this Grand Prix. And now as we head down in towards 130R once again here, are we going to potentially have a look at the inside of my teammate as we head in towards the Casio Triangle there? We're going to try to look up the inside maybe, then no, we get the wheels caught out over the curbs, completely clatter the 100-meter board there, and we've gone into the Casio Triangle backwards. We've collected my teammate Roman Grosjean. That was a big moment there, one that I wasn't even expecting. I'll be honest with you guys, I'd almost forgot about that, and let's try and have a look at that. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the view from the start of the incident there, but you know, we just got unsettled over the curbs there, and nothing we could really do there. A huge, scary incident between myself and Roman Grosjean there as we head in towards the corners there. Nothing Grosjean could do in that situation there, nothing we could really do as well there, and that is not really what Haas wanted in this race. I'll be honest with you, if we had a bit more of a realistic damage model, that would have been both of us out of this Grand Prix. But a very scary crash between myself and Roman Grosjean there. You know, apologies to him, nothing that he did wrong in that situation there, but nothing really I think we could have done either in that race. And honestly, I'm surprised that we both ended up still in this race after that one, because that was a very big moment in this series. But as you guys know, could have used a rewind in, you know, realism and all that on F1 2019. You know, that has set us right the way back to the rear of the field here, and with some very overheated tyres as well. They really need to try and get them cooled back down and back into the right operating window once again here. And yeah, now down to last place in this Grand Prix and a good couple of seconds back from Antonio Giovinazzi here. We now need to have a bit of a resurgence in this Grand Prix. That was I cannot believe how big that crash was and how just quickly it all happened there as we headed in towards the Casio Triangle there. Like I said, just got unsettled over the curbs. Back end snapped. We managed to save it once there, and luckily we didn't end up, you know, damaging the front wing there. Luckily there's no real damage we can get on the rear end of the car there. I would love to see that as we head in towards F1 2020. Perhaps that'll be my part 2 of, you know, 5 things I love to see on F1 2020 there. But Grosjean, you can see, makes a big mistake through turn 1. That's a very common AI mistake around the remodeled Suzuka circuit. Not too sure if he was trying to look up the inside of someone or what. But yeah, Grosjean now. Haas, this might not be a day to remember. Season 1 was not a day to remember until about the final 4 laps. Perhaps Season 2 is going to be the same once again here. Hopefully we can have that final few laps of the Grand Prix once again there. You know, we really did finesse the strategy in Season 1, but at the moment it was looking like it was just going to be a wet Grand Prix, which always makes things like that a little bit more difficult to try and make work for ourselves there. But over the next couple of laps, you can see we had actually closed down the gap to Giovinazzi as well there. And now hopefully we can try and potentially capitalise on the Alfa Romeo once again here. Up the inside, maybe in towards the hairpin. Kobayashi, eat your heart out. Are we going to be able to make it work? Giovinazzi tries to turn in, but we make it work. And we're now up the inside and up into P18 once again of this Grand Prix. They're really happy with that move there. And yeah, we really now need to try and focus on potentially close the gap to Danny Kvyat as well. Then Toro Rosso's gutted, I'll be honest with you guys, to see still no points in the Haas Road to Glory there. Nothing over both seasons. They remain the only 2 drivers. I think Giovinazzi did score at the end of Season 1. We've had a few more drivers not score anything in Season 2, but yeah, gutted that Toro Rosso have gone probably, well, it's highly likely they've gone 2 full seasons without scoring a point on this Road to Glory career mode there. Is out of the final couple of corners to finish off lap 8 here. Are we going to be able to get close enough to Danny Kvyat to potentially line up a move there, get a good drive out of the final corner? A little bit of wheel spin over the bump, but still, the Toro Rosso's got nothing down the straight here. We're going to have a look around the outside as we head down in towards turn 1. They're a bit of a brave move there, but Kvyat does actually give me the room right around the outside there. Are we going to be able to make this move work? Yes, we do. Right around the outside through turn 1. I will certainly take that one there. A little bit of a happy moment there in the voice as well. I'm really happy with that one there, I'll be honest with you guys. I wasn't expecting to make that one work. We sort of went for it and saw what would happen. Well, clearly Kvyat no confidence in that Toro Rosso car, and rightly so at the moment there, as we move ourselves now up into P17 of this Grand Prix here. It wouldn't be long before we were now all over the back of his teammate Alexander Albon. Oh, what I love to see for him to get a drive in a bit of a better performing car in this series. Maybe Albon can join me in the Haas for Season 3. We'll have to wait and see about that one there. But up the inside of the Toro Rosso we go once again there. And now, yeah, up into P16 of this race. So we're making good recovery progress at the moment here, but still a long way to go. You know, I would love to score points in this race, but I think, you know, all the, the big 5 teams were still really performing well in this race, as well as, you know, Mercedes was still sort of there or thereabouts. It was going to be difficult to try and get up towards these guys as well in this race. There you can see in the lap 13 halfway stage of the Grand Prix, fairly textbook time to come in for the pit stop there. Absolutely finessed the pit lane entry, if I do say so myself. They're coming in just behind my arch rival Kimi Räikkönen in this series there. We're hopefully going to get off to a nice 2.3 second pit stop. I will take that one there. Räikkönen has been held up behind the Toro Rosso there, so we've been able to make that work. And we're now up into P16 of the Grand Prix there. I think that's a net P15 in this race there. Not often do we make the undercut work in the pit lane there relative to the AI there. But yeah, we now move ourselves up into P17 now. You see Grosjean still yet to make his first stop of this race there. I'm really, really happy with that one there. Wasn't quite expecting to make that one work on Kimi Räikkönen here, but we'll take it. And we're now up again past, well, Räikkönen, as I'm sure you guys are well aware that have kept up with this series. Räikkönen, we've had a bit of a feud with him going on through a lot of this season. You know, there's not much racing respect left between the pair of us, I'll be honest with you guys, in this series. So to not have to worry about making that move work, I will take that one. And you can see, start lap 15 now as everyone else makes their pit stops there. Norris and Russell have really tripped over each other over the pit stop window there. And while we tried to look right around the outside of Norris, he decided I just didn't deserve any track respect on the exit of turn 1. Then we tried to make the move work around the outside, and yeah, Norris just completely, well, like I wasn't even there from the Williams man even, sorry, I should say there. But yeah, we now move ourselves up into P14 of this Grand Prix. You know, P13, P12 just in front of us there. Maybe the McLaren of Sainz. I think he's probably a bit too far up the road at this stage of the day, unless we get sort of a Lucas Weber style mechanical issue with just a few laps to go there. It's going to be difficult to try and close up to him as well here. You can see, start of lap 16 now. You can see Norris and Stroll just in front of me here, and the McLaren still really, really struggling with top end straight line speed there. The Williams not so much there in towards turn 1 though. He's actually going to look up the inside, but there's big contact between the pair of them there. Stroll just turns in Norris a little bit of a dollar short as we head in towards turn 1 there. But it's a free overtake for myself there. Something more you'd expect to see in online rather than, sorry, I should say, than the AI there. But Stroll holds on there, a little bit of a mistake. I don't think he's picked up any damage though. And yeah, we now move ourselves up into P13 of this Grand Prix. Yeah, it wouldn't be long before we were thinking about trying to line up a move on the McLaren of Stroll as well there. I think you can see fastest lap of the Grand Prix coming out, I think, from Lucas Weber as well in this Grand Prix. Slightly faster than my previous lap there as we head in towards the final couple of corners of the lap. We think about going for a move up the inside of Stroll, but just not quite far enough to really be able to go for anything there as we try to get the switchback on the exit of the final corner there. Try to watch the wheel spin out of the final corner, and that's what we've been able to do this time around, sticking much closer to the McLaren's gearbox there. And we're going to have a look up the inside. Stroll, no, he moves even further in front of me, down in towards turn 1. What is that from the McLaren man? You cannot do that in towards turn 1 there. And again, he tries to slam the door shut. We're not taking that. We're going to squeeze him out over the grass there. And well, perhaps I've made another enemy in this series there. You cannot do that in towards turn 1 there. Lance Stroll, you know, he played defensive, fair enough. I went further, you know, he left the room on the inside and then just tried to slam the door shut once again there. Tried to slam the door shut on the exit of turn 1 and turn 2 there. We just can't take that in this series there. Not often I sort of get this, you know, almost offended, I think, is really the best way to describe it from the air. It's brilliant to see them having those battles, but you cannot do that relative to someone else. You know, if that had been done in AOR, I would have been really disappointed. Well, the fact that the AI are doing it as well, they're really not too happy with that one there. And hopefully, you know, we can have a bit of a calmer end to this Grand Prix nonetheless. You can see lap 22, lap 23. Stroll, though, he would stick fairly close to us in this Grand Prix, and I think there's very little racing respect left between the pair of us at the moment after that one. You know, I don't like, you know, to create feuds with the AI unless I have to. Räikkönen, I still feel he moved across me in the braking zone there back at the Austrian Grand Prix. I probably should let things go as well, but, you know, you got to have a little bit of spice on these games as well. There's Stroll, though, lap 24 there. He tries to have a look up the inside. Look at that. You can give someone the room there and then try to go for the switchback, but no, Stroll once again tries to turn in on the exit of the corner there. And well, side by side as we head now down in towards the S's. Who's going to come out the top in this situation there? We slam the door shut there, but Stroll does keep the nose up the inside. We do just about give him the room there. Side by side still. We've gone side by side throughout all of these S's so far there. Stroll makes a move around the outside. We dip the wheel on the curb, and that's not going to give us the run on the exit of the corner there. You can see lap 25 now. 3 laps to go of this Grand Prix. Are we once again going to have a late race dash with the AI once more here? We're going to try and look up the inside in towards turn 1 there. Stroll once again there. Another late commitment towards the inside there. We're on the outside as we head in towards turn 1 this time around there. Are we going to be able to make anything work there? Stroll, luckily this time around, gives us the room around the outside, side by side once again as we head in through the S's there. But this time around we make the move work right around the outside, and we are now back up into P12 of this Grand Prix there. It's coming through the next couple of corners. Are we going to be able to go for anything else there? Stroll, he does think about it there, but cannot make anything work this time around. I think we've now got my other arch rival, Kimi Räikkönen, joining in the fun as well here. With just a couple of laps to go of this Grand Prix. Again, not someone that I really want to see in this race, I'll be honest with you there. But you can see, lap 27 now, 1 lap to go of this Grand Prix. What is going to happen there? Stroll 8 tenths back as we head down in towards turn 1 there. Nothing he's going to be able to do to try and go for anything in the opening stages of this lap there. And we now just need to try and keep it tidy through the final lap of this Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc wins the Japanese Grand Prix, and still he is taking points out of his teammate Sebastian Vettel in the in the Drivers' World Championship. You know, what a battle it is going to be between the Ferraris in the final couple of rounds of this season. Now, I think as well, mathematically, that now means Ferrari have wrapped up the 2nd Constructors' World Championship in a row in Formula 1. What a resurgence it has been from them there. But you can see Stroll down in towards the final couple of corners of this Grand Prix. I don't think he's going to be close enough to go for anything at the late stage of this race now. I think P12, though, at the end of the day, we weren't going to be able to get much more than that in this Grand Prix there, despite that big moment early on. We will take that one solely for the fact that, honestly, we survived at the end of the day there. But what a race on the whole. Plenty of action nonetheless.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari. Let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. Not the result our points leader wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I think it's got to be Lucas Weber. Time and time again, he proves that he's someone who can quietly get the job done, and that's exactly what he's done today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. So then, Ferrari have now moved out of sight and out of reach. It's another triumph for the Italian team as they claim the World Constructors' Championship. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula 1 action. I can't wait to see what's next.
So there we are then, guys, the end of the Japanese Grand Prix. And it's a Ferrari 1-2 to wrap up the Constructors' World Championship in style there. But Charles Leclerc taking another 7 points out of his teammate Sebastian Vettel. Verstappen finishes P3, a very good job by him in what has been a pretty weak season for Red Bull on the whole. Hulkenberg, Hamilton in his debut for Renault beats Lucas Weber there. Devon Butler in his debut for Mercedes beats Pierre Gasly as well. They're ahead of Perez and Bottas, rounds out the top 10 there. Carlos Sainz unfortunate not to score a point at the end of that Grand Prix. Ahead of myself, Stroll, Raikkonen, Russell, Albon, Norris, Giovinazzi, Kvyat, and my teammate Grosjean last at the end of the day there. In terms of the in the Drivers' World Championship, the only swap that time round would be Pierre Gasly jumping past Sergio Perez in the Drivers' World Championship there. And the gap at the top between Ferraris down to just 15 points. What a battle it is looking like to be in the final few rounds of the season. Talking about battles as well, another swap between Renault and Racing Point in the Constructors' standings. So you can see both of them still making big inroads on Mercedes there. And yeah, Ferrari, 190 points, only 176 now available. If, you know, Mercedes won and, you know, got 1-2s and got fastest lap in every Grand Prix between now and the end of the season there. And that would also require Ferrari not to make it through to the end of any race as well. So yeah, Ferrari, back-to-back Constructors' World Championships. It's highly likely they're going to win both Drivers' World Champion, well, both titles even, I should say, in F1 at 2020. But yeah, who is going to come out on top? That is for you guys to find out. 4 rounds to go of this season. 15 points separate Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel. What a titanic battle it has been so far this season. But thank you all so much for watching this video. Get yourself subscribed if you're new around here, and hopefully I will see you guys next time out for the Mexican Grand Prix.